Welcome to the Kill Count. Today I'm going to be looking at Ghost Rider Xmas Special by Marvel Comics. This story supposedly takes place on Christmas Day, where Robbie Reyes has to save a bunch of kids who don't believe in Santa from the evil Krampus. Now, how many lives were taken by the Christmas spirit of vengeance? Let's find out and get to the kills. The comic begins with some kids teasing their friend about believing in Santa. The kids leave when their friend's ride arrives. His ride tells him that he has pretty cool wheels, and is revealed that the kid is Robbie Reyes' brother. The brothers hug when Eli, the spirit that was in Robbie Reyes' Dodge Charger, awakens and says there's a nearby danger. Robbie's origin story happens in All New Ghost Rider Volume 1, released in 2014. Robbie was a mechanic and wanted a better life, so he joined a car race. He didn't know the ride was possessed by Eli, though, and he woke up the next morning as Ghost Rider. Robbie tells Eli that there's nothing wrong and he should calm down. So Robbie takes Gabe home, and Robbie asks Gabe how his school went. He is only left with disappointment, though, because his brother says that kids at school told him Santa wasn't real, and this upset him. Robbie tells him to keep believing and ignore what they say, because Robbie has seen Santa. But then you have to catch him at the right time. We jump to a new house, where a couple is arguing about getting their kid a video game for Christmas, since it's too violent for their kid. Blake, who was eavesdropping, heads back to his room and opens a chest in his closet, where he is torturing a cat. I don't get the significance of this being in the comic, but maybe it's showing that he was a bad kid and the reason why Krampus kidnaps him. Speaking of, a thud is heard on the roof, where Blake goes to investigate to find Santa. Oh God, that's not Santa. The parents hear the screams and go to Blake's room, where they see a giant hole in the wall. Gabe is making art for Santa when Robbie says he has to go run some errands, and Eli tells him to stop messing around, so this awakens Eli and turns Robbie into the full Ghost Rider. Eli tells Robbie that he's going to take the wheel so that they can drive, because he senses the evil and he knows where it is. Ghost Rider sees Santa on the road, and Eli tells him that it can't be Santa because Santa isn't real. He was quickly proven wrong, but also right, when they see Krampus in the sleigh. They try to catch up to the sleigh, and probably injure this random woman driving. I won't count her though, since it isn't confirmed and she was likely to survive the crash. The sleigh cart starts flying, so Robbie uses his whip chain to latch on to the sleigh and is lifted into the air with his car. Krampus tells Robbie to buckle up, because they're about to get a rough landing. The sleigh and the car hurtle towards the ground, and it crashes. They land in the North Pole, and Krampus runs away with his bag full of kids. Robbie hears giggles coming from a cave, and is jumped by a bunch of Krampus goons. Robbie gets overpowered for a minute, before turning them into a crisp with his chain. Robbie runs to the cave to find Krampus and the kids. Krampus threatens to cook Blake for being a bad boy, but Robbie comes to the rescue and strangles Krampus with his chain. But Krampus only laughs, elbowing him in the face and knocking him back. Krampus wants to show Robbie how he greets guests, and he's stomping the Ghost Rider out of him. Robbie hears a ho ho ho, and to his and Krampus's surprise, Santa breaks a hole in the wall and tells Robbie to never give up and to keep believing. Robbie listens to Santa and believes, and burns Krampus into a pile of dust in a cloak. Eli says they have to go back home and bring the kids back to their families, and they do so, bringing them all home. Robbie goes back home to see his brother, and is shown a drawing of Santa with a Dodge Charger hanging from it. The comic ends with Blake looking for Mr. Snooky to torture him again, only to find Ghost Rider in his room, reminding him to be a good kid. How many people were turned into ghosts and rode the Dodge Charger to the afterlife? Let's find out and get to the numbers. I counted 7 deaths in Ghost Rider Xmas Special, and all 7 were Krampus creatures, leaving us with a not-so-merry Christmas pie. Best kill goes to Krampus because he was obliterated, and the worst kill goes to none of these deaths, because I personally like the goons being killed with the chain. And that's it. I personally think that this was a good comic, so I'm sorry for not doing the Loneliest Brat kill count. I promise it'll come out soon. Merry Christmas, or whatever you celebrate. Goodbye everyone, and make sure to subscribe.